See how... What is a Skagit cast? The Skagit cast can really be explained by several definitions because there's a lot of guys who first started using it, including the three Skagiteers, and if you watch them all cast, they all have a little bit different style. But Ed Ward is the guy whose cast I want to talk about, and basically, from my understanding, and I think this will clear things up for anybody who's confused, is it's an out and around cast that creates tension in the D-loop, and you get a nice big D-loop, and the forward cast is applied before the D-loop loses tension. So the way that's accomplished is by keeping your hands close and in a box, and moving the rod in an out and around fashion, and the peeling of the line or the high sweep create the out and around motion of the high sweep, create tension in the D-loop, and then the objective is to pass the D-loop while it's still a big D-loop and before it sinks or before slack is allowed to get in the D-loop. So, therefore, if you watch Ed cast, the wrist does not raise or lower, it stays on the same level, goes out and around and over the top. The idea behind this cast is you don't sweep and pause and allow slack into the loop or allow your fly, sink tip, and whatever to sink in the water, so only part of your D-loop is out of the water, and then you cast. So it's out and around and over the top. It's not out and around and pause, or not out and around and then drift. There is no drift in Ed's cast. It may be necessary to do it in a continuous motion, and also after he sets his anchor, he lets it settle, and then he makes the cast. So it's basically it's a Spey cast. It's a normal Spey cast. You just go out and around and cast it before that big, nice, round D-loop and get slack in it, or before your sink tip sinks. The problem I see most guys doing is they try to come too flat out and around, and what happens is they don't get the whole D-loop up out of the water. They only cast with a partial D-loop, and the heavy weight of the Skagit line makes it possible to get a decent cast but not a perfect cast. So if you watch your sink tip as you're coming around to do keeping your wrist at the same level, watch Ed cast. He keeps that baby out here, out and around, and he doesn't lift it or pause. Maybe pause just a hair, but if you have to, but don't pause enough so the stuff sinks or you get slack. What I see people having a problem with is trying to get too flat, too out and around, and not getting that big D-loop. So I think what will help you, unless you're blowing anchors, is when you sweep up at this angle, okay, up and not too flat, because that will kill your cast before it's even started. Okay, when I say instead of sweep flat, sweep at this angle, I'm not talking about your hands, I'm talking about your rod tip path. Instead of sweeping so flat, try sweeping up at this angle here, so the rod tip goes up at a steeper incline. So you soak your fly a little bit, out and around, one motion. No drift, no pause. It's a Spey cast, and you cast the D-loop before you lose tension. That's all it is. The rod does not stay loaded throughout the cast. The D-loop stays what I would call inflated through the out and around motion. It stays big and round, but the D-loop stays loaded with tension, but the rod does not stay loaded. And if you try to make it stay loaded, you will go crazy, because I've tried for years. But that did help me to figure out how to make a cast with a lot of tension in the D-loop. So I'll do a couple. Rear this up, high, out and around. I'm gonna get the cameraman in my sweep. I'm gonna get over here, and then I'm gonna wait and then go high. Slow up high, and then forward. It's so cool, because you don't have to do it fast if you go high. You can go very slow. There's no big dynamic D-loop. It's just out of the water. That time I didn't get it out of the water enough.
Okay.
Here I'm seeing how high and how slow I can actually go and make a practical cast. I'll do right. Like the way that fly casts. You can't cast it.